John, I'm not going to say it's the most important time of the baseball season, but damn, this is an important final 2 weeks of the baseball season, isn't it?
It is, and there's a lot of really good teams that seem to be struggling in a weird way.
Yeah, here's the headline. I mean, we know there are some really elite baseball teams out there. We think there's a bunch of teams that have really got problems. Let's start, first of all, with the Padres. The Padres are sitting there at 5-11 over their last 16. The Padres' grasp on hoping to finish in first place is really taking a hit in the last week. They're now 3 games back of the Dodgers, who also hold the tiebreaker over them. The bigger issue with the Padres right now, burnout. Manny Machado is having just a miserable couple of months. We've never, ever seen this before. And I think it's more burnout than it is anything else. Manny is hitting 193 since August 1st. Manny is hitting 189 with runners in scoring position. Manny has 3 home runs last 37 games. This comes on the heels of a long drought with Fernando Tatis, although Tatis has started to come around and hit. And then you complicate it, Luis Arraez is hitting 278, which is like 30 points below what Luis Arraez normally is. And the Padres are just scuffling and to find some consistency, who should bat where and who's in the lineup, who's out of the lineup, even though they seem to have a wealth of talent now with bats. And then you add in the uncertainty to Yu Darvish, Dylan Cease, Randy Vasquez. This team has got some issues. And I'm a little bit concerned about burnout in the bullpen, too, because now we have seen some bad outings in the last week from guys that were so trustworthy for the entire summer. So this is a Padre team right now that is just not a complete factor. Now, here come the 104-loss Colorado Rockies. Padres can mop them up, I think. But then the Padres have to go cross-country, and they have to go play the New York Mets, who are in their own desperate situation. So the Padres have got an issue. The Dodgers don't have an issue right now. Dodgers are playing good baseball. The Dodgers are beating up on the bad teams. And the Dodgers now are starting to hit again. Here's an intriguing angle, though, to the Dodgers story. And we're going to run through the rest of the teams on the board, but you and I will talk about the Padres and Dodgers first. One conversation held within the confines of Dodger Stadium midweek. Ohtani, closer. Would they do this? They have now confirmed they had one conversation, the hierarchy of the Dodgers, letting him or making him become a one-inning closer once we get to postseason. To me, that's a bit of a reach. It's a bit of a reach because certain preparations go into being a starting pitcher. If you're going to ask him to convert and be a closer, that means he throws in the bullpen, he uses bullets, and he comes in and throws hard for one inning, but then he's not going to pitch for a couple more days. You're disrupting all the regimentation that has made Ohtani spectacular. This is because the Dodger bullpen is in utter disrepair. They got 3 closers on that staff whose ERAs go from 4.21 to 4.78 that they can't trust. Tanner Scott, Michael Kopech, Kirby Yates. They've got some huge issues there, and that's the only glitch in Dodger baseball. One other conversation I've had is Roki Sasaki ready to come back from Oklahoma City, and might he be a one-inning guy? I asked that question because in his last start at Oklahoma City, his final rehab outing, he went 4 innings, gave up 1 hit, no runs, struck out a bunch of batters, and threw 6 100-mile-an-hour pitches.
Yeah.
They think they got his mechanical flaws solved, and he's healthy. So you got a Padre team that I'm fearful has burned out. You got a Dodger team that's coming back together, but is yet to solve the closer thing. So, John, talk about the Padre batting order and the Padre starting rotation, and then transfer that to Ohtani closer, ? Go ahead.
Last night's game was atrocious. I mean, they play the Reds, and they only scored 1 run. I mean, in the bullpen, Adrian Morejon imploded. And like you say, Machado isn't hitting. You said Arraez is 30 points below. He's like 50 points below his regular average. And, granted that bullpen imploded last night, but the problem is the hitting. I mean, you got to score more than one run, and so it's just really frustrating. As a I see like bits and pieces of people saying, "Oh yeah, there's still a lot of ball left to play." But I mean, how many games are left? Like 17,
There's
16?
not a lot of ball left.
No. So, we need to be concerned here. Now, Michael King came back, looked pretty good. I was encouraged there. Suarez is still, I'm not sure. It makes me wonder if Mason Miller should be the closer, I mean, but I don't know if Schilt would radically change the roles for those guys because of his loyalty to his guys. So I don't know. The Padres situation, it's like one day I'm confident, and the next day I'm asking all kinds of questions. It's very just rocky road.
They're in trouble. And it's evident to me if they make the playoffs and people are hunting them down from behind, make the playoffs, they're going to play 3 on the road. How's that going to work out?
Well, it worked out pretty well a few years ago against the Mets.
That was isolated.
But still, I mean, they could pull it off. And it was interesting because, Don and Tony on the broadcast are saying how the road team has a better record in that opening series. Excuse me, the visiting team, the road team does better than the home team, which is counterintuitive, but it's a small sample size.
Oh, so I think we both agree. Do you agree or disagree? Padres are in trouble right now. I don't care what sales pitch they're trying to sell you on TV or at Petco Park. They're not a complete team right now. Okay, go to the other street corner. What are you doing with Ohtani? How critical is the bullpen mess at Dodger Stadium?
Well, yeah, they're supposed to be firemen, right, in the bullpen. So they need to put out the fire in the bullpen. But I'm just thinking, how do you logistically work it so Ohtani can go out to the bullpen and warm up when he's still in the batting order in the 7th and 8th inning? Are you going to have him scrambling, running across the outfield grass in between innings to hustle back to the dugout or to hustle to get out to the bullpen? It just seems like a logistical mess.
Yeah, I just don't know how you do it. And just because of the history of Ohtani and elbow problems, you're not going to ask him to throw multiple times in the bullpen. And he can't throw on consecutive days on the mound in a regular game. This thing to me seems a little far-fetched.
Well, imagine also if it's like a 1-run game, you bring in Ohtani in the 9th inning, and then the other team scores a run, and you go to extras, and then you have to take Ohtani out of your batting order. So that could create some problems, right?
No, he can stay as the DH.
But I thought that's only if he was the starting pitcher, not if he's the reliever.
No, I believe he can stay as a DH permanently.
Oh, okay.
So this is a reach, though, just because of the issues warming up, protecting him.
Yeah.
Does it impact his preparation? Very complicated. But they had a conversation, I was told, on Wednesday about Ohtani-closer, just because of the myriad of problems with everybody starting from Blake Trinan through the guys that are there to the guy that disappeared, Evan Phillips, who's gone for the year. Dodger pitching just
what
right
about
now.
Bobby Miller?
He's given up hits and walking guys.
I thought he was looking good.
He did early, and he stopped looking good.
Mm.
So he's still at Oklahoma City. Okay, Dodger fans, jump on board. Ohtani, closer, postseason, good idea or bad? Fans Forum chat box is open. Don't spill your coffee trying to get in and punch up. Want to hear what you got to say. Okay, other trouble spots in baseball. Mets are given so much ground, it's unbelievable. They might not make the playoffs, which is stunning because they were red hot. At one point, they had won 11 of 12, and now they've fallen apart again. Do you realize right now, this week, the Mets have 3 rookie pitchers in their starting rotation?
Wow.
The Mets have no starting pitching aside from the kids that they force-fed. They brought up from AA and AAA. Mets, some games hit, some games don't hit. The Mets right now are an absolute mess despite their payroll. Yankee baseball. I don't think I've ever seen so many bad performances at Yankee Stadium by the Yankees. And yet Brian Cashman keeps his job and Aaron Boone keeps his job, and they just go on and on and on. I watched a Yankee Tiger game the other night. Detroit, 9 straight batters got on base.
Whoa.
Wound up being a 9-run inning. Hits, errors, wild pitches. hit batsmen. Boone went through 3 relievers, couldn't get anybody to get the ball over the plate without getting killed. Yankees are in just total disarray. If the Yankees don't hit home runs, if there's no Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton contribution, Yankees are dead. Yankees look like they're in big trouble. And, of course, this all started with the Garrett Cole injury during spring training, and they've just never, ever put things together. Next one is Milwaukee. They've had a magnificent season. But, they've been stalled at 89 wins for a week. Suddenly they're not winning. And suddenly Christian Yelich is dinged again. He's had back problems in and out during the course of the season. Jackson Chourio, who was on the DL, has come back and has stopped hitting. And Jacob Misiorowski, the hot young rookie.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that first 4 starts? Got to the All-Star game based on 4 starts. He's got health issues. His ERA is like 9.00
Really?
his last 4 or 5 starts. So suddenly, Milwaukee is not the same team yet. They're still really good, but it's not with Yelich and not with Chourio, and obviously not with Misiorowski doing what they had done before. Seattle, at the trade deadline, we went crazy. We thought, holy cow, look at what they've done. I mean, they got the big dumper and what Cal Raleigh has done, and they got Julio Rodriguez, and then they made the trade to get the first baseman Naylor, the third baseman Suarez, and we thought, murderer's row. They're not winning. Seattle is 6-15 over the last 3.5
Really?
weeks. Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
No, I concur. And so they're skidding. Detroit, they've had spurts where they've been unbelievably dominant, and then they have spurts where they don't win. They've had 2 dry spells. And I went back and looked. We know who the Cy Young Award winner is in the American League. It's Tarek Skubal.
Oh, yeah.
I dare you to find me another pitcher in that rotation right now that you would trust in postseason. It's not Jack Flaherty. He's like 7-13. It's not Reese Olson. He's gone for the year. Detroit all of a sudden has no pitching aside from Skubal. So all of a sudden Detroit, despite being where they are in the standings, Detroit's in trouble too. Cubs. It's hard to believe that they've played so well for so long, but they're really nicked up. Their starting pitching's got some problems. Imanaga has not the pitcher that he was the first half of the season. Matt Boyd, who had a great first half, has almost virtually disappeared. Now Kyle Tucker's hurt again. He's gone on the disabled list. They're not hitting. They're 26th in runs scored in Chicago right now. Whoa. I mean, so they've really tapered off. And they've had themselves a good season, but what are they doing postseason? Houston, injury after injury after injury. I don't know how they're hanging in the race. Houston is 25th in runs scored. They're not doing well. And Toronto has really cooled off. The Blue Jays at one point were just raging hot. Suddenly, their bullpen has just kind of gone away from them. And Vlad Guerrero stopped hitting. And Bo Bichette just wound up on the disabled list with a knee injury. So we got some pretty good teams that had chunks of time, John, that were pretty good. All of a sudden, they're not so good. And we only got 2 weeks left in the season. Go ahead. You want to talk about some of these teams?
Well, while you were going through that, I was looking at my phone and looking at the list of all the other teams that are kind of in the hunt. And if you look at the wild card standings, the Reds are only 2 games behind a wild card spot. The Giants are 2 games over 500, only 2 behind for a wild card. The Diamondbacks 3.5 back, and the Cardinals 4.5 back. And if you go in the American League, Texas is only 1.5 back, Cleveland 3.5, KC 4. So I wonder if one of those teams is going to surprise us and kind of sneak in.
Well, the Mets have got the thing jammed in reverse gear. They're the one that might back out of this wild card race, and that opens the door for either Cincinnati or San Francisco. But neither one of those teams is dominant. Those would be one and done in postseason play. So there's some problems. There's some teams with just enormous problems. And we only got 2 weeks to go in the season. And some of the teams that have had dominant seasons just aren't playing very well right now with 2 weeks to go in the baseball season. So you got a comment on the pennant races, wild cards, feel free. Jump on board.